Han Shangyan heard the sound outside the door. He opened the door and found that Dai Feng had secretly prepared 2 more dishes and put them outside his door, and ran away. But unfortunately Dai Feng accidentally fell on the stairs. But he stubbornly said that he was fine at all. Later, he explained that he saw Han Shangyan had no appetite just now, so he cooked 2 more dishes. What he didn't know was that Han Shangyan had no appetite when he saw chicken drumsticks in the dining room, just because he saw the scene and remembered what happened to the solo team. Dai Feng was ordered to come to the airport to meet Grandpa Han. Soon, he took Grandpa Han to Han Shangyan's side. Grandpa Han reprimanded Han Shangyan dissatisfiedly, saying why Han Shangyan didn't go to the airport to pick him up in person just now. After that, his facial expression changed, and he happily talked to Wu Bai. Soon, Han Shangyan and the others brought Grandpa Han back home, and Dai Feng happily talked to Grandpa Han. After all, he knew that coaxing the old man well was an important task for him. When Do Nan asked about Tong Nian and Han Shangyan, Tong Nian looked discouraged. Do Nan joked that this was not bad. Maybe it was because Han Shangyan felt too old to be embarrassed to be with her. This made Tong Nian immediately angry when she heard it. Soon, Tong Nian secretly turned on the computer again and played the video of Han Shangyan. It was discovered by Do Nan again, which made Tong Nian a big blush. Grandpa Han took Han Shangyan to a house and planned to introduce Do Nan's sister Yuejiao, who was Tong Nian's cousin, as his girlfriend. Interestingly, Tong Nian also came over at this time, which surprised Han Shangyan. At this time, Tong Nian pretended not to know Han Shangyan and greeted him. While chatting, Grandpa Han saw that Tong Nian was very beautiful, and his heart moved, thinking that his grandson Wu Bai didn't have a girlfriend, so he said that he would introduce Tong Nian to Wu Bai in a few days. Han Shangyan and the others went out to the hotel for dinner in the car, and Tong Nian finally came out. Hearing that Han Shangyan was here for a blind date this time, she couldn't help but be startled. Han Shangyan had told her before that he didn't want to fall in love, but it turned out that it was just an excuse to refuse her. Yuejiao walked to Han Shangyan's car, but Han Shangyan seemed to ignore her, which made Yuejiao very angry. After all, she was introduced to him on a blind date today. How could he be so rude? Then, after getting into the car, Yuejiao asked about Han Shangyan's occupation, and Han Shangyan replied casually that he was just playing with the computer, which made Yuejiao roll her eyes unhappily when she heard it, and said that he was not doing his job properly. However, Tong Nian on the side was a little unconvinced and defended for Han Shangyan. This made Yuejiao felt at a loss for a while. She said why she felt that Tong Nian had an inexplicable relationship with Han Shangyan. The car finally arrived at the door of the hotel. When Yuejiao saw her mother, she was very unhappy, saying that she had already inspected it, and Han Shangyan was too crazy. The two then walked into the hotel. Han Shangyan and Tong Nian also got out of the car. Han Shangyan told Tong Nian that she didn't need to pretend that she didn't know him just now. The reason why he told their relationship to the others was to not embarrass them. And soon after Wu Bai came over, Wu Bai would definitely tell everything. Yuejiao's mother pulled Tong Nian out of the room and asked her if Han Shangyan was really a person who didn't have a job as Yuejiao said. However, when Tong Nian heard it, she evaded it, and walked away on the pretext that someone was calling. After a while, the banquet was finally held, and Wu Bai also came over. Han Shangyan told Wu Bai that now Grandpa Han was about to introduce Tong Nian as his girlfriend. Soon, Grandpa Han introduced Wu Bai to everyone at the banquet, and insisted on calling Tong Nian to sit beside Wu Bai. But at this time, Wu Bai said simply and neatly that he had known Tong Nian for a long time, and many people were saying that she was Han Shangyan's girlfriend. This made everyone startled all of a sudden, saying how could things suddenly turn out like this? Wasn't Han Shangyan introduced to Yue Jiao on a blind date? Han Shangyan didn't want the scene to become too embarrassing, so he had to go to Tong Nian's side immediately, and casually said that Tong Nian was his girlfriend, but things were too rushed before, and he didn't have time to tell it to everyone. After Han Shangyan settled down with everyone, he secretly pulled Wu Bai outside, and accused him dissatisfiedly. How could he be so disloyal just now, tell everything to the others, and let himself fall into the big pit? However, Wu Bai was plausible, saying that it was Han Shangyan who did not pay attention to loyalty firstly. Han Shangyan was called back to the room again. At this time, Grandpa Han was very excited. He was very happy that Han Shangyan could get a girlfriend like Tong Nian. During the banquet, Han Shangyan secretly explained to Tong Nian, and after this incident, they could take the opportunity to find another reason to announce to everyone that they had broken up. After the banquet, Han Shangyan drove Tong Nian home. In the car, Han Shangyan asked Tong Nian when the two should announce their breakup to everyone. Tong Nian's face was startled. It was inappropriate to say it too fast. They could talk about it later. In the room, Tong's mother said to Tong's father with an unhappy expression. Han Shangyan was much older than Tong Nian. But Tong's father didn't take it seriously, and said that everything should go with the flow.